Welcome back to Cars Craze, the channel where we dive deep into the machines that shaped automotive history and continue to ignite the passion of gearheads everywhere. Today we're stepping into the world of raw American muscle, where cubic inches, throaty exhausts, and bold styling ruled the streets. The spotlight is on a true legend of the 60s, the 1966 Chevrolet SS 427. This car didn't just show up to the muscle car wars, it brought a sledgehammer, and for enthusiasts, it's still one of the ultimate icons of Chevrolet's golden era. Picture this. It's 1966. The American car market is exploding with competition. Pontiac has the GTO, Ford is pushing the Mustang, Dodge is flexing with its Coronet and Charger, and Chevrolet is not about to let its reputation slide. Chevy had already tasted success with the Impala SS, but in '66 they decided to crank the dial to 11. They dropped in the mighty 427 cubic inch V8, and just like that, the SS 427 was born. It wasn't just a car. It was a statement. It told the world that Chevrolet could do more than keep up. They could lead. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1966 SS 427 special under the hood. That 427 engine came in a few different flavors, but the L72 was the monster everyone remembers. Rated at 425 horsepower, though many believe it actually produced more, this big block could shove a nearly 2-ton car down the quarter-mile in under 14 seconds. Remember, this was the mid-60s. Tire technology was primitive, suspensions were soft, and traction was something you dreamed about. Yet the SS 427 delivered blistering performance for its time. Owners describe the way it pulled as almost violent, a tidal wave of torque that just didn't stop. Chevrolet didn't just stop with power, though. They knew a muscle car also had to look the part. The SS 427 came with unique styling cues to set it apart from the regular Impalas. A bold blacked-out grille with SS badging, simulated scoops on the hood, bright chrome trim, and of course that unmistakable stance. You could walk into a dealership, see one sitting there gleaming in marina blue, and instantly know you were looking at something special. Inside, the SS 427 had bucket seats, a floor-mounted shifter, and all the sporty touches to make drivers feel like they were in command of something serious. Driving one was a whole experience. The steering wasn't razor sharp, and the suspension leaned toward comfort, but press the throttle and everything else faded away. That deep rumble turned into a thunderous roar, the rear tires struggled for grip, and the car surged forward with an intensity that made your heart race. Muscle cars weren't about lap times, they were about that feeling, that grin plastered on your face when you unleashed all that horsepower. The SS 427 delivered that in spades. Collectors today look at the 1966 SS 427 as one of the crown jewels of Chevrolet performance history. It's rare, it's powerful, and it has a mystique that only a handful of cars from that period possess. The L72 engine option alone makes it highly desirable, since not many were built. When one comes up for auction, it turns heads and fetches serious money, because enthusiasts know exactly what they're looking at. It's not just a car. It's a time capsule of America's love affair with speed. But what's really fascinating is how the SS 427 fits into the bigger picture. The mid-60s were the opening battles of the muscle car wars, and manufacturers were trying to outdo each other in creative, sometimes outrageous ways. The GTO had swagger. The Mustang had style. Mopar had brute force. Chevrolet, with the SS 427, brought refinement mixed with raw power. They weren't content with just building another sporty car. They built a street machine that could hold its own against anything else of the era. And that's part of why people still talk about it almost 60 years later. Now let's get into some details enthusiasts love. The 427 big block had a forged steel crankshaft, solid lifter camshaft, and high-flow cylinder heads. That meant it wasn't just about cubic inches, it was about efficiency and durability. You could take this car to the drag strip on Saturday night, beat on it hard, and then drive it to work Monday morning. That blend of everyday usability and jaw-dropping performance is what cemented its reputation. And for those who wanted a little more comfort, the SS 427 still came loaded with options like air conditioning, power steering, and even power windows. It was proof that muscle and luxury could coexist. Over the decades, the legend of the 1966 SS 427 has only grown. Younger generations might see it as just a big old Chevy, but when you hear one start up, when you feel that deep rumble through the floor, when you see the long sleek body shimmering in the sunlight, you understand why it has earned its place in history. Cars like this aren't just machines, they're cultural icons. They represent freedom, individuality, and the thrill of the open road. On Cars Craze, we celebrate vehicles that embody passion, engineering, and soul. The SS 427 checks every one of those boxes. It wasn't built to be practical. It wasn't built to save fuel. It was built to dominate. It was built to give drivers a taste of something extraordinary. And even today, it continues to inspire car builders, restorers, and enthusiasts around the world. Whether you've seen one at a car show, heard stories from an older gearhead, or maybe even had the chance to drive one, you know this car leaves an impression. So as we wrap up this dive into the 1966 SS427, take a moment to appreciate what it represents. A time when automakers weren't afraid to push boundaries, when horsepower was king, and when cars were more than just transportation. They were dreams on wheels. And this dream, this roaring, fire-breathing Chevrolet, still captures hearts decades later. Thanks for tuning into Cars Craze. If you love stories about machines that defined eras, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and join us on this journey through automotive history. The SS427 was just the beginning. We've got plenty more legends, surprises, and deep dives coming your way. Until next time, keep the passion alive and keep chasing that roar of the open road.